allegiance to the flag, whatever flag they offer. Never hint at what you really feel. Teach the children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight while we stood still. Can you hear me? Can you hear me running? Can you hear me running? Can you hear me calling you? This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground lair, where we're slicing through the truth at a greater rate than the Biden administration is slicing through the razor wire on the southern border. Huh. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm good.
All right.
Change of seasons maybe has me a little down right now. We got our first snowfall. And not a big Halloween fan.
No, me neither.
Yeah, little brats could go somewhere else for candy.
No,
I'm
that's
kidding.
not exactly my sentiments on the holiday.
I'm kind of kidding, but love the movies, but that's about it. I don't know, just with what we're going to talk about a little bit later, and I'm just kind of yuck right now.
Yeah,
I mean, just yuck. Too much work, and I just hate life right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
I know you Christian guys are always optimistic, but
yeah, we're super optimistic. It looks like Jesus could come back at any moment here. There's wars and rumors of wars.
Yeah,
and,
maybe that's it. Maybe the whole world situation kind of has me.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm waiting for the president of the United States to tell Ukraine to show restraint.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that.
Right.
While they take all our money and that we print off for them. Jay, I have no idea. I think I know the song. I think I know it. It's Wham, right?
No.
Yeah, wasn't it "Keep Me On Before You Go Go"? Isn't that what you said?
I don't think I said anything like that.
But that's Wham, right?
That would be, but
or George Michael.
No, that was Wham. Okay. Yes.
So I'm going to give myself a quarter of a point for
because you named a song I didn't.
Yeah,
recite.
Exactly. I get extra credit. Grading on a curve over here.
That is a song that I don't think I will ever have on the songs from the podcast playlist on Spotify.
And I know that came out in 1984. There's another quarter of a point.
I didn't know that.
So
I knew it was in the 80s, early 80s.
So there you go. There's another one.
Yeah.
Well, enlighten us, Jay. Enlighten us on. Which member of the Rolling Stones sang that?
The song is called Silent Running from Mike and the Mechanics.
Oh, I saw that. John Candy's in there.
Okay.
Silent Runnings?
No, that's Cool Runnings.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not Running Man either. That was Arnold, right?
Jesse Ventura was in that, too.
Yes, he was.
That's right. Ever heard
Arnold?
Ever heard the story of Jesse Ventura getting that part?
No. Well, maybe I have.
Okay, so Jesse,
all of us. Yeah.
Jesse had to leave the WWF to do Predator. Vince wasn't going to let him do it.
Really?
Yeah, and he was like, "Well, screw you. I'm going to go do the movie."
Yeah.
They had him under contract, or he was going to miss too many Saturday Night's main events or something like that. His schedule couldn't come back because they had to go on location or something to shoot the movie. And he's like, well, Jesse's like, I can always come back to wrestling.
Yeah.
The territories were still around then.
Right.
And so when he came back, I got a little cough. I can't quite do the Jesse voice, but supposedly Schwarzenegger came up to Ventura and said, Jesse doing Arnold is just basically said that he had another part. His next movie, he had already inked or whatever, was Running Man. I'm thinking of you for a part in it. So before I called Vince, I inked the Running Man, so I had the ace in the hole if he said no. It was something like that. So he wouldn't talk to Vince till he signed the contract for Running Man. He got the time off to go do it. Yeah, I'm a big star. What did you see? Running Man, Predator. I'm the star of that movie. Ain't got time to bleed. So, actually, you know what? I got to say this too.
Yeah.
My favorite Jesse Ventura quote, which the one I always say about, none of the above. That's the one I like to use. But there was one where Dean Barkley And a few independent people came to Jesse's house when he moved to Corcoran or Maple Grove after he was mayor to try to coax him into running for governor.
Yeah.
And after talking for a while, Ventura basically said, okay, you've piqued my interest, but now you've got to go. We got to go inside and convince my wife to let me do it.
Yeah.
And supposedly Jesse said, and I'm paraphrasing a little, but he goes, she's not a public person like I am. But when I went in there and told her that I was going to run for governor, she looked up at me and said, "You are the warrior." That's always my favorite. You are the warrior.
I'm sure that's what she said.
And I got to do one more, too.
Okay.
Because according to Ventura, they met at a bar where he was a bouncer.
Yeah.
And superstar Billy Graham was like one of the biggest. Him and Bruno Sammartino were like the two biggest wrestlers at that time in the 70s. And Billy Graham was somebody Ventura tried to emulate. So did Hulk Hogan. So did a lot of other people. And supposedly, Ventura's wife walks up to him and said, "Hi, you look just like superstar Billy Graham." And Jesse goes, "Well, I ought to. He's my older brother." This is just great.
Oh, boy.
So how do we get onto that subject anyway? Oh, Cool Runnings, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Running Man.
But no, Silent Running was the song from Mike and the Mechanics. You'd know it if you heard it.
Would I? Okay.
Yeah.
Then you gotta play it. Maybe get out your ukulele.
Can you hear me running?
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that before.
No. Oh, it's
I
great.
don't think so.
It's great. Such a good song.
You do somebody good like Robert Palmer. I might know that one, but I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, listen, the lyrics in this song are amazing. I never actually read the lyrics in there, but I know the song pretty well. But there's a gun and ammunition just inside the doorway. Use it only in emergency. Better you should pray to God, the Father and the Spirit will guide you and protect you from up here. I mean, this is take the children and yourself and hide out in the cellar. By now, the fighting will be close at hand. Don't believe the church and state and everything they tell you. Believe in me. I'm with the high command.
Well, just remember his gun's got to be in a safe, bolted down with with
thumbprints from every finger.
Thumbprints from every finger. Yep. That sounds like something I'd say. Rubbing off on you, Jay.
Yeah, that's probably true after 7 seasons.
I gotta say something too. I'm also down and sad about.
What?
I don't know. I know you're not the biggest TV guy, but the death of Matthew Perry a few days ago.
Oh, yeah. I watched Friends.
Okay, and I did too. I didn't watch it that much back in the day. Thursday at 7 o'clock was the time I was rarely home. And this is before,
I caught it.
Stopping TV and all that, yeah.
I wasn't like a religious watcher of the show, but yeah.
I know, and just to listen to if the media ever went after, real stories with the veracity that they go after a guy's death.
Yeah.
It's just sick to listen to the speculation. And, we all know he's a guy who had his issues at one time or whatever. But it's way too young to go. 54 is way too young to go.
Yeah.
And it's just a tragedy. I thought he was a great actor. He seemed like a super nice guy. Seems like a guy nobody had anything bad to say about. It was. I happened to the night I heard about it, I happened to go home, turn on the TV, and Friends was on. It was like eerie.
Yeah.
Because it's on Nickelodeon or TV Land or one of those channels at night.
Right.
They play like 10 episodes in a row, and it's just eerie to see. Somebody who's not that much older than me, somebody in a way, even though I was like in my teens and 20s during that show. Yeah. I mean, it was I don't remember what year it started, but when I was in college, I remember it was on in the mid 90s. But just, another person leaving us way too young. I mean, it's the saddest thing, when somebody with, talent and with great God-given ability and somebody who became a huge success either can't handle it or whatever happened. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to do what the media is doing.
Yeah.
And just leaves us way too soon. Again, I know it's happened in the music world a million times. You've seen it. We both have. But just thoughts, generally speaking. I mean, what do you think of were you a Friends? You kind of mentioned you were a fan of the show, but I was. I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know, just a weird feeling that my wife and I just watched Fools Rush In really recently with can't remember the Hispanic lady that's in this, Selma Hitchcock or something that's in there with
Selma Hayek.
Right, that's it.
That
okay, I was trying to think of it all day too. I could have just looked it up.
Yeah,
but it's
Selma Hitchcock. She was in The Birds, right?
Yeah, it's Alfred's
Vertigo.
Alfred's wife.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you think? I mean, how do you react when you being in the music world? I mean, how do you react when somebody you watched or listened to for a long time? And is there a celebrity or music death that's really, you'll never forget where you were when you heard it, or
yeah, plenty. In fact, when what's his name? No, I'm just kidding.
Jay, now I'm rubbing off on you way too
when Kurt
much.
Cobain passed away.
Okay, I was in high school. I remember
I had
that.
a gig that night, and I just remember getting up and having to talk about it in front of everybody, and that was a tough one. I also think that I was in the middle of a gig when I found out about Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park passing away. Or no, it was Scott Weiland. He was in town for something, and I heard about it like during one of my sets, and I that was weird. I had to address that. That was up at Mavericks when I was playing, when they had music up there in Champlin. I know Chris Cornell's death hit me pretty hard.
I remember that. I think we did a podcast around that.
Yeah,
time.
we did. And
now what band was he? I know the name. Yes,
and Audio Slave, and he had a bunch of solo stuff. And it was weird. And I think it was just the manner in which it happened. It's like I liked Soundgarden, I liked Audio Slave, but I wasn't like a mega fan of either band. There were grunge bands that I liked better than Soundgarden, but it did hit me hard, and I think part of it was just his story, and stuff. But yeah, Chester Bennington, who passed away not too long after Chris Cornell, a lot of them, and so it's hard because a lot of times, like, artists, they struggle with things, but the ones who make the really good art, a lot of times they have struggles with things.
Yeah, they're tortured souls a lot of
and
times.
That's they're able to put that into relatable music, or they act it out really well on screen or whatever. And so I think when you learn a bit about the person, and what they have gone through and their struggles and all that, and you start to see them as a person and not so much as a personality, it does hit you hard, because you think about it, from your own point of view as an artist, and it's like, wow,
the weird part about it. I mean, I go to sports hitting me hard.
Yeah,
and I remember where I was when I found out Kirby Puckett had a brain hemorrhage, or what. I was up at my cabin, and we couldn't get internet up there at that time. Your cell phone wouldn't work in the middle of nowhere back then.
Right.
And so I didn't find out until the news that night of what had happened. Huh. And even though I know that he had his issues after he quit, and I actually know, I won't say on the air, I know a little bit about the case because a friend of mine's dad was a detective. So I my opinion of him, it was hard to separate the guy from the hero, and sometimes that's hard to do. But I remember just thinking, wow, I can't believe he was only like 47 years old, and it was just so hard to, which, I'll be that in January. It's hard to believe that. And I'll tell you, another celebrity death. People are going to laugh at this, but I go to wrestling.
Yeah.
I remember when the Ultimate Warrior passed away, and the tragedy of that day.
Yeah.
He had been inducted to the WWF Hall of Fame the Friday before WrestleMania.
Right.
And then, and he had kind of made amends with everybody, Vince and, Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake. I don't know what the issues were between them, but there was always friction there. Warrior was kind of his own guy. I don't think he rubbed people the wrong way, and everything Triple H, everything was cool between everybody. And I remember he went on Monday Night Raw and came out and shook the ropes, and he looked sweaty and he looked tired. He looked older than he was. I don't know. He was about 55, maybe. He wasn't that old.
Yeah.
And then word came the next afternoon that he was shopping with his kids who were teenagers.
Yeah.
And he collapsed right there in the parking lot. And it was just like, wait a minute. I just saw that guy give a speech, go in the ring, and the next day he was gone.
Yeah.
This is all within like 72 hours. And that's a lot to process.
It is.
It's just,
Wrestling is one of those things where there's more than its share of death.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. I know that a lot of times some of these people that are out on the road or they're famous and they can't really let people into their inner circle. There's loneliness that sets in.
Especially back then, because everything was kayfabed. You didn't tell the people what was going on. You didn't do interviews, shoot interviews, what they call them. Yeah.
So it's tough. I
think the transition and the after is really hard too, because you go from being on the road to making tons of money to your, when you and I are at our age, we're in the pinnacle of our careers right now. They're retired.
Oh boy.
And
I'm in the pinnacle of my career.
Well, you'll be doing the fries next week. And I think this happens with a lot of professional athletes, and I think a lot of them who aren't millionaires, this is different now, but they blow their money, they have hangers on and all that. But they don't know what to do with the rest of their lives.
Right.
They don't have anything to do, or they didn't save their money, or they didn't, now they got to go get a job,
Right.
Driving a truck or something, or whatever. And I think it's a wrestling tragedy is what so many of them end up being. But I looked at a picture of the Hart Foundation, the five guys, not just Bret and Neidhart, but
and like Owen who left,
and Davey, Brian Pillman. Bret's the only one still alive because Jim Neidhart passed away too. So there's one guy, and when I saw Bret Hart at a event talk about that, he said, I always thought Bret's about, he's probably in his early mid 60s right now.
Yeah.
And he said, I always envisioned I'd be on my deck drinking beers, talking about the old days, and everybody I know is gone. And the ones who are around, I was never close to, but Bret was real close with Rick Rude, with Kurt Hennig, with Big Boss Man, with Earthquake. And they're all gone, So, and that has to be tough, too.
Right.
Some people die because they don't want to live anymore, So it's just, it's a sad thing. The Ultimate Warrior's death, my goodness, that weekend, I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief for quite a while that he was really gone.
Yeah, and I think there's something to that. When you put all of your eggs in one basket and you can't do it anymore, you have to find some other reason to live. There are so many times when I used to work in corporate America, one of my main motivators to get out of that was I would once in a while see the ambulance pull up and cart some guy off on a stretcher. And I'm like, I'm not going to go out like that. I hate what I do. I don't like it here. I don't like the environment here. I don't like the political nature of it. I don't, there's so much of it that I can't sit and nod my head yes in meetings to stuff that makes me want to tear my hair out. I can't do that stuff. And so
you can only conform so far.
The stress level at some point would have gotten me, Can I do the job? Absolutely. But I had gotten to a point, and I think I've explained it on the show before, when I went to Haiti, everything changed for me, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. This is a waste of life. This is a waste of a life. I can't do this anymore. It doesn't mean anything.
I know, and don't you for a long time rationalize it too? Oh, I'm supporting my family. I'm I'm doing some good. I'm blah blah blah. There's always a way to talk yourself into staying.
Right. And a lot of people do. And so I think a lot of times we get to an early end because we don't know what to do with ourselves anymore. We retire, we play golf, we fish, whatever, but with no greater purpose.
I also think that's what life preaches, though. I think if you listen to people in academia, people will always advise you to play it safe, get a job, have good health insurance.
Yeah.
Don't take too many chances. That stuff like that was pounded into me as a kid. Go the safe route.
Me too.
Don't be a dreamer. Be a doer, not a dreamer. And I'll never forget. I wish I'd have listened to him because I don't know why I remember this, but Eddie Murphy was on Arsenio Hall one night.
Okay.
And one thing I liked about Eddie, and I like this about Jay Leno, I like this about Tim Allen. I like comedians who can turn off the comedy and be serious for a minute.
Right.
In Arsenio, him and Arsenio were talking about dreams and how he got into acting and like Eddie quit school or something and his family was pissed. And Eddie said something and it hit me and I never followed it. And he said, some people try to have something so hard to fall back on that they never achieve what they want to achieve. He goes,
right.
My family wanted me to have something to fall back. I understand it. I understand mom and dad wanted me to get educated. There's nothing wrong with that. But I felt the longer I stayed here and hated it,
right,
the less chance I was going to have to be an actor and a comedian, which is what I wanted. I was going to school not to achieve the,
right.
the goals I wanted to. How do you be 19 or 20 and say that to your mom and dad? He basically had to stand up for himself and just obviously he was a great success, but it's how many people do something like that, or do they play it safe? And
most people do play it safe, and they make sure they put X amount into retirement every month. And
are people afraid to fail? Is that what it comes down to? You're afraid to fail?
I don't know. For some people, that's it. I think for some people, they're afraid to dream. I think for some people,
do they listen to other people's criticism too much? Yeah. And when I went to try to be a pro wrestler and came back to Minneapolis with my tail between my legs, it affected me for a while. Taking a chance again, it was kind of like, boy, that didn't work.
But you got up. I
got up the next day, but the idea that I was going to go take a chance doing something a month later, that wasn't going to happen because I got to see I told you so's. Yeah. And it was just, I so wanted to say F everybody, but I couldn't.
A lot of times people do. I hate using the word hate, but they hate to see people succeed because they're not succeeding. And so I studied under a business guy that used to say that, like, sometimes life is like a bucket of crabs where you start to climb out and get towards the top and they will reach up and grab you and pull you back in.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
And you got to just keep climbing for the top,
You look at the more successful you get, the more, if I'll bring it into government, the more you get taxed, the more you get, the more you lose any incentives, the more you get demonized, the more there's resent there.
Right.
There is resent there. I mean, there's resent. Hey, there's resent at people who are like lawyers or doctors. Like, hey, they went to college for like 10 years. I mean,
right.
You go do that. I mean, look, doctors are on my list right now, but for different reasons.
Right.
I don't disrespect all the work they put in and all that. I mean,
it's getting as woke as anything.
Yeah, but I mean, still, lawyers, what do? They do 4 years of college, 3 years of law school, depending on what law degree they want. Ever seen a bar exam? That's not very easy to pass.
No.
It takes a lot to go do that. So why hate on people who, some of them go to night school and work during the day and.
But it's pretty widespread. I mean, even in Christianity, you're taught that avarice is bad. And for the pure pursuit of something for selfish reasons, that might be true. But then you look at Scripture where it says things like you're God's masterpiece and he created good works for you to do before, from long ago. And other scriptures that talk about you be creating for a purpose and being created for a purpose, and that you were known long before you were ever born, and pick up your cross daily and follow me, which isn't just get up and believe in something. That's like you go do something, you suffer, you stretch, there's a movie called Some Like It Loud. It was Jimmy Page, The Edge from U2, and Jack White. And they all got together and they were talking about their instruments and what they play and their approach to playing and all that. I love it. It was a great movie. Mm. There's a point where Jack White's sitting at a piano and he's talking about the scripture Genesis where it's like, and man sinned and was thrown out of the garden, and God said that you were going to have to work to be able to survive. And so sometimes I put my piano bench just a little further away from the piano, or I take a guitar that can't quite tune itself right, because I figure if I work harder at it, then that means something, that
I'll tell you, it's harder to have a higher purpose sometimes. I struggle with that.
Yeah.
One day we'll talk some religion, Jay, because I struggle with all that.
Yeah.
I mean, anyhow. So, just the older you get and the closer you get to the end. And I mean, I know I'm not at the end, but I think I've lived over half my life for sure. And it's kind of you get worried about your own mortality.
Yeah. I figure I've lived half my life in about 10 years or so. I'm going to go out at 120 on a mountaintop like Moses, so I've already got it figured out.
Okay, well, walk by and go by my gravesite before you do it, Jay, because I'll be gone by then, no doubt about it. I figure if I get to 50, I'll live to be at least 70-something. Yeah. In my family, it seems like you die young or you live real long. There's not much in between.
Huh.
Like my dad's 76. He's in great shape. If he died tomorrow, it would have nothing to do with,
Yeah.
It would just be an act of God if he did, or whatever you want to call it. It'd be a freak thing, but, we'll see. Okay. Well, I'd like to say we're going to lighten the mood, but we probably aren't.
Probably
Jay,
true.
Can I say on episode number 298, what I probably said on episode 1 or 5 or 10, I hate odd year elections.
Yes.
Can I just say that for I wonder how many times I've said that on this show.
Quite a few, as have I.
And what I hate about them is so layered. Like it's okay. It's easy to go out there and say, well, look, nobody votes, and how can you really say you're the mayor of a city of 50,000 when 3,800 people vote for you?
Right.
I mean, that's just like too easy. It is a disservice to our republic to have an election or a ballot question at a time when everybody isn't voting.
Right.
It is simply a disservice.
Yeah.
How can I say it any simpler or any other way than that?
Well, that is a simple way to say it.
I mean, it's intentionally deceptive. It's done on purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? What's interesting, too, is when you listen to people try and defend it, this is where I hear the local control argument.
Yeah.
And I get really ticked off. Because local control is not choosing to have elections in the middle of the winter or on holidays. Or don't tell me that's about local control. It's about manipulating it so that only so many people will come out and vote.
Right.
And you think something can pass or somebody can win.
You know who votes in an odd year? Activists. And in an odd year, you have the teachers union and the teachers who belong to that union all going out to the school board elections and swaying, deciding who their bosses are going to be.
Well,
how would you like that? I'd love to say, well, I guess I do. I have chosen my boss. It's me. But
that's where you have none of the above. That's where that none of the above comes in. Truthfully speaking, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do.
Right.
But, I listen to but the local control one's the one that drives me nuts, because anybody who believes in local control would never believe in 95% of the other things they believe in.
Right.
And local control does not mean, look, voting is fundamental. Okay. Without that in the First Amendment, we don't have a republic. Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea that you're going to manipulate when we vote, voting too early, voting too late in some cases, voting all over in different times. I mean, if you live in Golden Valley or you live in St. Louis Park or Duluth, you have to come out and vote on another election and then come out and do it in an odd year election. Now, why don't these statutory, here's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Minnesota, the statutory cities.
Yep.
I mean, do they require when to vote, or do you have to have a charter to vote in an odd year?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, Golden Valley has a charter. I don't know if St. Louis Park does. I think they do.
Yes, they do.
And I know a charter is, something that you and I favor.
I would have to look it up, but I don't think places like Rushford, that doesn't strike me as a charter city. Lonsdale, I don't think is a charter city. Falcon Heights could be, but I don't think it is. There's a number of cities. A lot of them are, though. I mean, White Bear Township is definitely not. Well, the townships run a little different, I guess. But
some of those townships have like elections in April.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, what?
Yeah.
I just think that see, I don't care about the people who work there. I don't care about the councils.
Right.
I don't care about those people. I care about the people who live there. And I think it's fair that they should vote. And I'll tell you what really drives me nuts are the ballot questions. That's what really drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, you're getting a small sample of people. It's done in the odd year for a reason, and that's to manipulate the outcome. So, I mean, why can't something, sometimes the state has to step in and do something that's unfair. It's just unfair. And you know what? I don't care about principle. I don't care about being right. I don't care about being consistent. So the heck with all you people out there who want to, chomp me at the bit for saying this. But it should be that you cannot have elections unless it is in November of the even year.
I agree with
That's
that.
just the way it should be.
If you were interested in getting everybody's voice, you would put it when everybody votes. It's that simple. You wouldn't make some grandiose statement about, well, if more people wanted to, be involved, they should come out and vote. No, you should make it as easy for people as possible. Isn't that what we hear about? Oh, we got to have ballot boxes to make it easier for people.
Can't have voter ID.
Yeah.
Can't have mail-in ballots.
Yeah. So how about you put it when everybody votes then?
Well,
don't make them go take transit to go vote with a frown on their face in an odd year.
Yeah, if they got to take transit, it's bad. They're bad enough.
Yeah.
They don't need to be pissed on top of it. Well, and on top of that, what's the cost to have an odd year election? I mean, it costs a lot of money. What is Minneapolis? What does it cost them with all their precincts and all the places open?
Yeah, and
they have to be open on the even year anyway.
Right.
So why not just do it when everybody else is doing it?
Absolutely. And it just, I don't know. There's something about it. It looks like you're trying to control the outcome. It really does. Because anyone who knows anything about politics, anyone who knows anything about elections knows that if you can control the people that you get out to vote, if you can turn out the vote, you easily sway those elections.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the even year, you can't control that.
No.
You got to go talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Not just select few.
Right.
Not just to get the people who grease your palm. You got to go out and get everyone. I don't know. It's just it just angers me to no end to see it justified. I mean, we've seen some small movements away from odd year elections.
Yeah.
But not enough.
No.
And at some point it has to be done. And to see the three largest cities in the state, or I don't know if Duluth's number 3 anymore, but they're up there.
Yeah.
In the top 10
it's
anyway.
Like 4 or 5.
I think. To see them on odd year elections, I mean, that again just shows what a crock it is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, a lot of these cities, when there's a vacancy on the council, and you want to have a special election, it's too expensive. Yeah. We can't do that. It's too expensive. We got to appoint somebody. Really? Well, then what are you doing having special, a special time to have an election on an odd year instead of putting it on an even year? There's so much hypocrisy in government, and it drives me batty.
Well, that'll never change. It'll never change. From limousine liberals to family values Republicans who get caught with their secretary, it'll never stop. They're being hypocrites almost a requirement.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, I'd love to sit here and live in a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. We're not going to. So it's just is what it is. But yeah, even odd year elections stink. I don't ever want to. And they stink. And then to have odd year elections with at large, that even makes me angrier.
Yes,
because I hate at large elections.
Yes,
and since moving to Maple Grove, where we have at large elections, and I got to write none of the above. I got to write I don't care.
Right.
I got to write Seymour Butts or Major Guns or whatever in there.
Tomfoolery.
Yeah. A few others I've written down that I really shouldn't say. I in a city of 60,000 people, which is totally absurd. Totally absurd. So if you're one of these cities that have odd year elections and at large, you are babbling idiots. I just want you to know that.
Before we get into some of the places that are doing it locally, what do you think of, and I don't know if you've done any looking into the numbers, it just kind of came to me, that Virginia does all of their state elections in an odd year.
So does New Jersey.
And New Jersey, we know how that works out. Virginia actually has some competition. I don't know.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either. But if you have everything on the odd year, does that then condition people? I mean, when you have state legislature and, all of those races in an odd year.
No, I don't think it does.
You don't think it improves the numbers?
No. Well, does it? Sure. I
Yeah.
mean, would a governor's race? Yeah, it would. But again, what's the point of doing it in an odd year? What's the point of I guess I would answer it by this way. If more people are coming out, you're just making the case that you should move it.
Right.
It's like, okay, well then, if that's the case, then do it where everybody else is doing it.
Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to do that, too. I mean,
sure.
When you're moving to an even year, unfortunately, that might cut the term short for some of the candidates, or you could do what District 281 did and just give yourself an extra year.
Under the law, in Minnesota, though, they can do that. I looked that up when that happened. They could do that. It's the right decision it's the wrong decision for the right reason is what it was.
All right.
I just, for the life of me, I think Virginia, and I hate to put this on a state, I think they love it.
Yeah.
Because they're the center of attention.
Right.
When Glenn Youngkin pulled that upset win,
that
was the story of the country.
Absolutely.
And Chris Christie won. It was the story of the ousted whoever, John Corzine, whoever was the governor there. I mean, it was a big, big deal when it happened. And it wouldn't have been a big deal had it been an off year. And maybe in an off year, maybe Youngkin wouldn't have won that in an even year. But that's all the more reason to not do it then. Just because it's in a result I like doesn't make it right.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't like it. I don't know why one or two states have to act like that. I'll never understand it. It's like Maine splitting their electoral vote. I mean, again, just because, it turned out to be a result that I liked in the last couple election rounds.
Right.
But that doesn't make it okay. I mean, if every state starts doing that, then people are going to campaign even less because they're going to target 20 electoral votes and everybody else will be a foregone conclusion. It's the worst possible thing.
Right.
So I don't know. But I think it's there's a bill in Minnesota a few years back to do that. So, I don't know. But Jay, why don't we look at some of these places? Unfortunately.
You can find this out by going to the Secretary of State's website. It's candidates.sos.mn.gov, and you can look up all the people that are running in the various cities. And unfortunately, we see a lot of uncontested races as well, and that drives us crazy. I know we've kind of railed on that before.
And it is bothersome to me to see that too, because I'm always of the belief competition makes somebody better. And so, if somebody doesn't think they're going to be held accountable or somebody isn't accountable, then...
Right. Well, top of the list, we got Appleton, Minnesota. It's out west of Wilmer, south of Morris. That's kind of north of Marshall. That's kind of where that sits. They have a special election for mayor. Why? Nobody's running. Well, no, they have one person. It's uncontested. We already know who the winner of that one is. So,
well, that's wonderful.
Fantastic. Maybe you could have waited on that one. I don't know. Aurora, Minnesota. This is another special case here. They do have a contested mayor race. You know where Aurora is?
No, I don't actually.
Okay. Aurora is up on the Iron Range, in between Bowabic and Hoyt Lakes.
Oh boy. Okay, way up there.
Yeah, way up there.
Huh.
It's south of Embarrass by quite a bit. But yeah, like if you took and went out of Eveleth into Gilbert up to Bowabic, where Giants Ridge is, Aurora's the next town over. So, they do have a contested mayor's race. However, council member elect 2, which means what when they say elect 2? It is a what kind of election?
At large.
At large. And the number of candidates that have filed for this election is astonishing. And that number would be 0.
So you've got those two or none of the above. Oh, wait, there are none.
There are none. You have 0. You have nobody to vote for. So whoever gets written in, you better watch it.
Yeah, no kidding. You might as well vote yourself in.
Right.
Maybe one of the two mayor candidates should just switch.
Yeah, there you go. Whoever comes in second, go over to the city council. It counts for the same thing anyways in a town like that.
Right?
So
No doubt about it.
yeah. The third largest city in Minnesota, from what I can recollect, Bloomington.
Really?
Yes. So yes, number 1, 2, 3, and 4 all have odd year elections. Yes.
Yuck.
Yeah. At least they're contended. There's people running in every ward. There's no uncontested elections.
Well, congratulations on that, Bloomington, because that's a rarity.
Right. Circle Pines. That is up into Nord part of the Twin Cities over by Lina Lakes and stuff like that. Circle Pines, uncontested mayor race and an uncontested city council member race. It is elect 2 again. That makes it at large, and there are 2 candidates. And they have a special election with 1 person. So you get what you got, Circle Pines. If it sucks, it's going to continue to suck. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Of course, Duluth. Yeah. Well,
boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Is there a city that needs a primary as much as Duluth?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people running for mayor.
How about that at-large elect 2? What do you got?
Oh my
9?
goodness. Why
is Emily
that?
Larson listed as nonpartisan?
Yeah, she's as nonpartisan as Joe Biden.
Freaking AOC nonpartisan.
Yeah. Ugh. Whatever.
And you know what I love is when people, and then Council Member District 3, there's somebody running, Ros Radorf is running. Randorf is not running against anybody.
In Duluth, where you have
100,000 people,
86,000 people in the city. So you divide that by 5 districts or whatever it is, and
size of Crystal, 20,000.
Yeah. Goodness. Not one person wanted to run against Ros Randorf.
That district's asleep. They're just asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody from District 4 ought to move. 'Cause they got a bunch.
Yeah, they do.
You know what's weird too? Here's a nickel's worth of free advice to you candidates out there. When you file, your website and all that stuff has got to be complete.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at this for the mayor race.
You can't file and have, because where do people go? They
Nowhere.
go here and there's no link
Yeah.
to your stuff. What are they going to do? Click on the links that are provided.
Yep. So as far as it goes for mayor in Duluth, there's really only 2 candidates, Emily Larson and Roger Reinert.
Probably.
Because nobody else has a website. They might have one now.
But they probably
it's like,
signed up in April, Jay.
Yeah.
Or in August.
Gotta have it done early.
I don't mind this Roger for Duluth guy.
Oh, yeah? You taking a look at
Well,
him?
he's criticizing the taxes. He's criticizing the streets. He's criticizing, anybody's got to be better than Larson. He's calling the city unaffordable to live in. Property taxes are too high. Commercial tax base isn't developing enough. Population is shrinking. Downtown isn't as vibrant as it was.
Yeah, public safety.
Yeah,
drugs, panhandling, graffiti, encampments. He's listing it all out there. So
he might be okay. We might. Worst comes to worst, I think I'd vote for my, dirty clothes over Emily Larson. But, at large. And you know what? These at large people, somebody's got to live in District 3.
Yeah.
Hey, look at somebody in District 4. Their website is the Duluth Times.
What?
DuluthTimes.com.
That's their website, huh? Oh, my word. Oh.
So, oh boy. Duluth.
DuluthTimes.com. Yeah, that's not even an official.
No, it's just like an article it goes
Because,
to.
yeah, it's.
Oh, by the way, I also want to say that
yeah.
Salam for Duluth, Salam F. Witherspoon. Website expired when I click on the link.
If you're going to be a serious candidate,
God.
you have to.
You got to have a decent web presence.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Look, if you don't define yourself, somebody else will.
Yes.
There's just no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there's somebody here who's talking about their partner.
Where?
Jenna Yeakel.
Jenna Yeakel. Sounds like
yeah, she served their community garden program. Okay, I've read enough. I've had enough.
Oh, yeah. She volunteers with Showing Up for Racial Justice.
Somebody else.
She's got a mullet. That doesn't
Listen
help.
to this.
Yes.
Therese Wasaki.
Yes.
I click on Wasaki for Duluth, and it gets a domain not connected with the website.
Oh, boy.
God, you people stink.
Yeah.
I mean, come
Oh,
on.
boy. Oh, boy.
You know what? I'm going to give out another piece of free advice.
Yeah.
When I see the word collaboration, that's another thing that I don't want to be around. Collaboration, sustainable. If I see something like that, boy, I run.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, you gotta
nice
take
mullet,
care
nice
of things.
mullet.
What are you looking at?
No, that one chick, nice mullet.
Jenna Yeakel Ford Yeakel, Jenna Yeakel, that one. So yeah, I don't know. That's
oogly.
Anyways, yeah, Duluth, you're in trouble. That's all I know.
Duluth, you've been in trouble for decades.
Yeah.
Now, what about your favorite city, Jay? Golden Valley.
Oh, you skipped Falcon Heights,
Yeah,
the
because
big
there's nothing to talk about.
metropolis just by Roseville there.
That's the show on after Dallas, right? Falcon Heights.
Right. There is, nothing that is contested in Falcon Heights. Apparently everybody loves their government there. So enjoy all that. Golden Valley. Oh, goodness.
Your girlfriend's running, Jay. Jillian Rosiequist. She won't spar with me on Twitter anymore. I'm kind of disappointed.
She quit? It's because she's running for mayor.
I guess so. You know,
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing.
Yep. That is it. I don't know.
Now, this is rough here. This is rough.
Yeah.
Because the person that she's running against, Rosalind Harmon, is the vice chair of Golden Valley's Peace Commission.
Yeah.
Police employment accountability and community. You know, we've criticized that quite a bit on this show.
Yes.
And I continue to criticize it because I think, it's made to make the police look bad or blame the police. And again, I'm not a police hater. I'm not a police defender. I'm neither. But when I read the stuff she says on here, I see keywords, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this, and I'm going to ding some of the keywords.
Yes.
Rosalind has great relationships with elected officials statewide, advocating on behalf of systemic change and reimagining the future for more equitable and an inclusive society.
Wow.
Now
talk about a word set.
Like that. Okay.
Right.
That was written by some corporate lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the only word missing in there is sustainable.
Yeah. Oh, yuck.
So that's ugly.
I like this. Golden Valley is a wetland that deserves our utmost care and attention. Better said, Golden Valley is a sinkhole. Get out while you can.
Yeah. New Hope's a sinkhole, too. They got something in common. Listen to this. Boy, you're going to ring the dings here. Rosalind has great relationship with partnering mayors and elected officials from surrounding cities and will collaborate closely on behalf of public safety and joint agreement efforts.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. I heard a whole bunch of
Ugh.
nonsense on there. So that's pretty bad. Good old Jillian here, though. And I don't know what to do there.
Yeah. That's
Collaborative and experienced leader.
Sophie's choice is what that is.
Sophie's oh.
Supposedly, she's endorsed by Paula Pentel. How does that work?
I don't know. Maybe old Paul has had a change of views over the years. I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be ugly.
Yeah, there's not a good option there.
And please don't have pictures of yourselves with wearing a mask.
Who did that?
She did on this.
Oh boy.
She's outside wearing a mask.
Great. So you don't understand how the virus works. You didn't follow science, and you want us to follow you into the future. That's trust you if there's ever any actual emergency that happens.
So here I'm gonna read one sentence from one of the council people.
Yeah.
Sophia Ganis. Quote, she's for a welcoming, secure, and sustainable Golden Valley. Do I need to read any more?
No.
I mean, welcoming all. How about skinheads?
Yeah.
Are they welcome? Well, you said welcome all.
Right.
Druggies, child rapists.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody.
Well, after 6 years on the council,
who are you to judge?
They are more welcoming and inclusive, apparently, after several years of diversity, equity, and housing initiatives.
Well, how come they never solve these problems? That's what I'd like to know.
Right.
They're always for affordable housing. Well, if you're that much for it, shouldn't that be the way it is now?
Right.
I mean, it should be solved by now. There's actually a contest because one of these three people have to lose. I know Maurice Harris is on the council.
Yeah.
I know he's DFL endorsed.
Yeah, I think most of them are.
The one lady, this Jean Kidd, criticizes the tax increase here.
That's good.
Saying that the 1.25% sales tax is out of step for this community of 23,000 people, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she seems to, I don't even, quite frankly, I could stop right there and I don't need to read any more either compared to the other two. But like I said, I ain't endorsing anybody, so you can take it at that. But Jay, you're a computer guy.
Kind of.
Can you tell me what a cookie is?
A cookie?
And don't say C is for cookie and cookie is for me.
They're little bits of information that, like, when you go to a website that your computer holds on to, so next time you go to the website, it will refer back to that information and it deals with preferences and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not that much of a computer guy that I really understand it, but I know sometimes the cookies can get old, and you've got to delete the cookies out of your machine so that you can refresh the updated website. And I don't know. It's good stuff. Hopkins uncontested mayor race, but I will say for their at-large council race, they do have 4 people running for 2 positions, so that's good. Interesting.
Patrick
websites.
Hamlin, I know that guy.
Patrick Hamlin, where's that?
Or at least I thought I did. Maybe I don't.
Oh, Hanlon, the mayor.
No, he's endorsed by Emily Larson.
Oh goodness.
So then I don't know him.
That's nothing I'd brag about.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
No, wait a minute.
Yes.
What's the deal with the council?
There are 4 people running for 2 positions, 2 at-large positions. Some interesting websites. Checkforbeck.com for Alan Beck. Ben Goodland, goodforhopkins.com. Brian Hunky for citycouncil.com. And Aaron Kuznia for council.com. All of them using the number 4, which is odd that they all decided to do that. That's interesting. None of them spelled it out. They all used the number.
Well, some websites allow you to. It'll work either way.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that, but I've seen that too, where they do it, but it works no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
You have to buy both URLs.
yeah, I think so.
So
Anyhow,
that's how that works.
moving on.
Yes. Lionel Lakes up where 35W and 35E meet, or just south of there. They both run through the city. You have Rob Rafferty running for mayor, uncontested. And you have 4 people running for 2 spots at large on the...
One has a website. It's a Facebook
Yeah,
page.
that's not a website. You never use Facebook as your website or record. You know why? Because people can't search what they're looking for on your Facebook page. They got to scroll through a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
Not garbage. You know what I mean, though. It's stuff they're not interested in.
It is garbage. It's 100%
stuff they're not interested in. Plus, you don't own it. So at any time, Facebook can say, yeah, I don't like what you stand for. I'm going to tank your page. I'm going to restrict you from posting. I'm not going to allow you to post ads on your page. Any of that. And you have no control over it because all you did was a Facebook page and put all your eggs in one basket. You got to have a home on the internet where people can find you. Facebook isn't it. You use Facebook because people are there, but that's not a website.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right. Lonsdale,
way down. Well, not way down there, but down south of Lakeville there, down 35.
It's, down there a little bit.
One thing you'll see about me, Jay, I'll never move south.
Why is that?
I like moving north.
Yeah.
Always heading north.
All right. Lonsdale, yeah, it's pretty close to New Prague and Elko New Market. And, it's off a little west of 35. So, that great French city, Le Centre, which means the center. Just like Le Sewer, which means the sewer. No, it doesn't actually mean the sewer, but it's spelled different.
I love how center,
Yes.
they have to spell it wrong.
Right.
It's just... Wait a minute, Le Centre now. Where's that exactly?
That is a little further south,
it's
west
okay.
there, but yeah. Lonsdale.
Is there the left and the right? Or maybe we should create cities that are that.
Yeah.
The left, the right, the center.
La left and la right.
At some point, you got to run out of names.
La gauche. And,
I mean, when you got Gaylord as a city, you got to run out of names at some point.
All right, so that's contested. There are two people running for one special election there. Matamidi up off of 694, just east of White Bear Lake.
Been through there?
Yeah, you have one guy, Richard Brainerd. Brainerd for Matamidi? Is that a good slogan?
Right. Be funny if he lived like in Baxter. He Brainerd for Baxter.
Yeah.
I've never met a Brainerd before.
Yeah, me neither. He's the only guy running for mayor, though. And then you have two people running for two spots for the council. So,
God,
again,
geez.
nobody's contesting it. Everything must be perfect in that city.
How else explains it?
Yeah? Oh, boy. What's next? Your favorite place to hang out and mine. The thriving metropolis of Eden glorified Minneapolis.
Oh, God, do we got to run down that?
There's just a couple of things I think we need to talk about.
There's bad, worser,
Right.
worsest, ugliest, most horriblest.
Ward 2. You have Elliot Payne, who's currently sitting on the council as the DFL person, running against Edwin Fruit.
Yeah, and he should spell his name Pain.
Yes. Yes.
Fruit?
Yes. Edwin Fruit of the Socialist Workers Party.
Oh, of course he's a fruit.
Yeah. And all of these that are
His middle name Rotten?
Oh, yes. And to make it more appealing to people, of course, the Socialist Workers Party, all the people, and yes, there are more than one running from the Socialist Workers Party in Minneapolis, put the same website, themilitant.com. That's got to make you feel warm and cozy.
Pins by them, and
Yeah.
it'll just embolden them to run more people.
Let's go to themilitant.com. What's the top headlines? Fight Jew hatred. Support the right of Israel to exist. That doesn't sound like the Socialist Workers Party to me.
That can't
That's,
be
I
right.
don't know. Battle against Jew hatred is a working class question. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Why does Israel exist? Solidarity with UAW strike is in the interest of all workers. Political freedoms are a key issue in U.S. politics today.
Yeah, too bad you're a socialist and don't stand for any.
Right. And there's a picture of Castro. That's great. Oh, goodness. The Grenada Revolution. Maurice Bishop. That's great. Yeah, they sound really solidly pro-Israel. That's strange. Hamas was built to
Democratic
kill Jews with
Socialist?
disdain for Palestinians.
Huh. Maybe they've changed their message in the last week.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they think it'll help them get elected. I don't know.
Too late.
Yeah, I
Can't
don't
do
know.
what they did and reel it back.
Anyways, that's crazy. Ward 2, Robin Wansley. We are in Minneapolis of how many 100,000 people? 500,000?
4 at least.
Robin Wansley is the only one running. The only one as a Democratic Socialist.
Yay.
That is the party, Democratic Socialist, not DFL. And nobody in that ward thought, maybe I should stand up. Maybe I should run. No, instead you have Robin Wansley, whose website says is the first black independent socialist city council member in Minneapolis.
Oh, Socialist Workers Party and Democratic Socialist are two different things.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Socialist workers might support Israel, but
Maybe.
the Democratic Socialists do not.
Yeah, apparently that's true. The Democratic Socialists I know don't. But yes, Robin Wansley. Unless somebody comes up with a writing campaign real quick, I mean, you guys are in for trouble with this one. She wants a 5-fold increase in city funding for public housing to $5 million per year.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah. Halting the demolition of the Roof Depot building and creating a path to develop it as a community hub and urban farm. Extending the contract and increasing funding for the Behavior Crisis Response Team, a service outside of the Minneapolis Police Department for handling mental health emergencies. Yeah, that would have worked out real well in the case of that guy down in
Well, I've
where
seen
was
worse
he?
things.
Yeah. But that guy that just shot up all those people, had the severe mental health. If they had sent a behavior crisis response team to his house instead of, yeah.
Got me.
Yes, indeed. Passing the People's Climate and Equity Plan and starting a review of the People's Climate something or another fees, PCAR fees, as an avenue to fund its implementation. Environmental justice, equity in transportation, housing for all, public safety beyond policing, accountability for the police department. Oh boy,
Love it.
Oh,
Just love it.
Can't wait. I need to think about moving to Minneapolis.
Hey, who says you have to live there to vote there?
That's true. Hey, of course, Award 4, our good old friends Leslie Davis of the No Vax Party is running. So that's good. You got that happen.
Oh, Leslie.
Yeah, good old Leslie Davis. A friend of
You know what stinks?
Yes.
I'll tell you what stinks is I've met Leslie Davis several times.
Yeah.
And he actually is a guy that has got some good ideas.
Yeah.
He's actually a guy, he criticizes the Fed. Which means nothing he used to have a TV show when I had a TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to watch him. He has got some good ideas.
Right.
But he's become a joke candidate, like Bob again, running for all this stuff and just
right.
Leslie's probably in his 80s now.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you tried to run 600 times.
Right.
It becomes a joke every time and
Yeah.
nobody wants to listen. So
right.
He's an ideas person, though. I mean, he does have some smart initiatives. So I just think it's too bad that instead of putting that to work or working on legislation or doing something like that, he's just become a candidate that just endlessly just runs for office.
Right.
And him and Jack Sparrow.
Who's not running this year,
Well,
it appears.
Depends what CD he's moved into.
Well, yeah. You mentioned Bob again.
Bob
Carney Jr.
again.
running in Ward 13.
I want him to win something.
I don't. He's progressive.
Yeah, but let him win something in Minneapolis. Just let him win.
And the other one in Minneapolis to mention is Council Member Ward 11. You have Emily Koski, who is currently holding the seat, against Gabrielle M. Prosser from the Socialist Workers Party. So that's a great step there for all of you.
I love it.
Yeah. Minnetonka has contested elections in all four of their wards that they have contests in there. So that's, I guess, good. The mayor must not be up. So,
No, it's mayor for life there. Boss Hogg appointed himself.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no clue.
In Ward 4 of Minnetonka, you have Ted Neerman and David G. Larson and Kissy Coakley. I don't know. VoteKissy.com.
Oh, I love it.
I figured you would. I figured that you would.
I got to see that. Where is this? Vote. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Vote Kissy. Oh.
She uses an anchor for the I in her name. That's because that's where her campaign is going down like an anchor.
Yeah, well, you can kissy that, Jay.
Okay. Hey, she is actually on the council. She is the incumbent.
Well, she's dealing with transportation and climate issues in Minnetonka.
Aren't we all?
We need to encourage the use of public transportation, carpools, biking and walking. That would have worked great today.
Affordable housing.
It's amazing. It's affordable housing, yet it never gets affordable.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh, gee. Who wrote that?
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, you go Kissy. You go vote Kissy.
Well, they did, and probably will again. So that's great. Enjoy that. Mounds View is a special election. It is contested. Nobody has a website. Rosemount, it is contested. Special election for member at large. 2 of them have a website. 1 does not. Rushford, mayor election, and there is nobody.
Rosemount down by Apple Valley, for those of you who don't know that.
Yep, that's true. Rosemount. Rushford, I don't know where Rushford is.
Keep talking, JL.
You know, there are 853 cities in Minnesota, and you know what? I haven't heard of all of them. It's amazing. Rushford.
I'll look at it.
Oh, okay.
Keep talking.
I'm talking. It's down there a ways.
It's down between Rochester and Winona.
Yeah. So, uncontested mayor election. Terry L. Benson will be your mayor, whether you like it or not. And elect 2 for at-large.
As opposed to Terry R. Benson.
Yes. And Rushford Council elect 2. There's 1 person running, so I don't know what you're going to do with the other one. I guess appoint somebody.
Serve both seats.
Appoint somebody, what all good government does.
He gets 2 votes.
Yeah. St.
That's
Anthony.
what I'd do. That's what I'd take. I'd take 2.
Take them 2, yeah. It'd be like being an overweight person on an airplane. You got to pay for 2 seats. Well,
if you take up 2 seats.
Take up 2 seats. You pull the other one close, put your legs on it. I don't know.
It's like that part in Flight of the Navigator when he comes down. Too many Twinkies. That's the odd half of the planes.
Yes. St. Anthony, it's contested for mayor, and it's contested for, there's 4 people running for 2 spots on the city council. That's good. 2 of them have websites, 2 do not. I think I'll tell you how that'll work out. Here we go. St. Louis Park.
Oh, good.
St. Louis Park.
Does it bother you that you have to spend a lot of time in that city? It bothers me I have to go there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just does. I make it a thing that just one of those cities I pass through and never stop.
Yeah, well, you know, cities like St. Louis Park. I mean, remember they were in the news a while back because they didn't want to do the pledge at their city council meetings.
The Republicans woke up and opposed that and then did nothing about it after it was gone.
And it's also a city that has an ordinance that you cannot get straws in a drive-thru unless you ask for them.
Well, that's a good thing. We don't want to waste straws.
Right. Whatever. We don't want the straws to end up in the creek down there and impair a dolphin or something.
You never know what'll happen.
Yeah. Anyways, there are 2 council seats up. 1 is contested. Of course, only one of them has a website. And then Yolanda Ferris is the only one running for seat A, so you get her. Congratulations, whether you like her or not. And then Mayor Jake Spano is stepping down.
Jake the Snake, he must be running. There's got to be a plan for Jake the Snake.
I don't know.
He's not running. Somebody's not running in 24 for something.
Maybe.
He's got a plan. Got a good plan.
Yeah.
George Bush Sr. would say.
There are 2 candidates. They're both lefties, okay? This I know. I know somebody who's been working on the ground down there. Dale A. Anderson at daleformayor.org, and Nadia Mohammed, which is vote Nadia for slpmayor.com. Now, I want to say Nadia is interesting.
Are you saying that facetiously, Jay, or not?
Yes. No, I mean, she's interesting, that's for sure. She is someone that first of all, she's Somali. Okay, so just so you can kind of picture in your head. And she was recruited to run from from what I hear, from our favorite congressperson in CD5, Ilhan Omar. So if that doesn't tell you something, I'm sure for all of the Jewish folk there in St. Louis Park, that someone that is affiliated with Ilhan Omar is going to be a great choice for you. I'm sure that she is someone that will care about you and take your interest to heart and just really love the Jewish people. So
that is interesting that a Jewish town would elect a Muslim mayor.
Yeah.
But St. Louis Park.
Jake Spano endorsed her.
It's an odd year election. And
Peggy Flanagan endorsed her. Cheryl Dwight Yoakum, whoever she is, endorsed her. Lynette Dumalog endorsed her. She is St. Louis Park City Council member, Ward 2. We know who the favorite is then. Oh, Cheryl Dwight Yoakum is 46B state rep.
Cheryl Dwight Yoakum.
Gail Dorfman, former mayor and city council member of St. Louis Park. Yolanda Ferris, city, who is also on the council.
Yolanda.
Virginia Mancini, who's a school board member. And Sarah Davis, who is another school board member. Senate District 46 DFL endorsed her. The AFL-CIO endorsed her. Women Winning endorsed her. Isn't abortion against Islam? I'm just asking. And Minneapolis area realtors also endorsed her.
Realtors endorsed her. Wow.
Yeah, which is odd. You look at the issues. Oh, boy. Look at the issues page.
No thanks.
I think you want to.
No, okay. I don't.
She is currently on the council, so I do have to say that. She's just getting the upgrade. So these priorities include affordable housing, racial equity, social connectivity, transit and mobility, and climate action.
Yippee.
Go figure. Yeah, so that's great. She's for all the right things there that St. Louis Park people love. So that's awesome. You should order a lawn sign, see if they'll bring it up to your neck of the woods. See if
you keep doing that.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Senate District 46 DFL, he puts, this is Dale for mayor here. He puts Senate District 46 DFL at the top, even though he's not he's not endorsed by them, apparently. St. Louis Park needs Dale, a Democrat. That's what it says below his name. Well,
what he should have wrote was a Democrat, not a socialist.
Yeah, that's what he maybe should have written. Yeah, not a terribly user-friendly website. It looks like it was made on Joomla or something like that. Photos are out of focus. It's, not good. Although there are some things on here for being a Democrat that I'll have to applaud him for. Fund our needs, not our wants.
Well, it's a good slogan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Needs updated infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, etc. Needs public safety funds for fire and police. Wants avoid multi-million-dollar vanity projects.
Well, that describes 2/3 of the spending in St. Louis
Right.
Park.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. So, I don't know. He, unfortunately, is not the favored dog in that race, so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
St. Paul, all the wards are up, and they're all contested races. You did better than Minneapolis. That's good. Of course.
We'll see if it ends up being better.
Oh, my word. Okay, I got to address this. Council member Ward 1. You have Anika Bowie, no relation to David Bowie. Yan Chen, Travis Hellcamp, James Lowe, Omar Said, Suze Warride, Jeff Zeitler, and Lucky Tiger Jack Rosenblum.
What?
Yes. Lucky Tiger Jack Rosenblum. That's how he's listed and no website. I really was hoping he had a website.
Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce all the Ward 7 people.
Wait, Ward 2 Rebecca Knocker is up for
Really?
re-election.
Oh,
so.
Jay. You got to go there to make sure she gets back in. I just wonder if she has any idea the laughter she brought on this show.
Of course she does. They all listen.
Now.
Yes.
I love how they're all nonpartisan, too, at
Right.
St. Paul. What a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can do the first one.
Yeah.
Alexander Bourne.
Yeah.
Dino Guerin.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnson is the last name. Chaniqua.
Yeah. Chaniqua. Yeah.
How about the next one? Faua Chaua Kanang.
Fuachua Kang, I think.
How about the next one?
Is she the sitting council member? I don't know.
I don't know. Kartumu King.
Okay.
And then we got Paderve.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Oh, I love it.
that's that. Wow. St. Paul Park has an uncontested mayoral race, and then a whole bunch of people running for city council. Couldn't one of you run for mayor? I mean, you're just a glorified city council member.
Keith Frankie, isn't that that's Adrian Adonis, right? Isn't he Keith Frankie?
I don't know. Is he?
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, can't ask him. Being dead doesn't keep you from voting in St. Paul, does it? Keep you from running for office?
Probably
keeps you running.
It's hard to vote present.
St. Peter, we got a couple running for mayor. We got an uncontested Ward 1 election. White Township, we got one guy running. Nobody's running against him. White Bear Lake, Ward 1, nobody's running against Bill Walsh. I thought he'd be pretty busy doing America's Most Wanted, but...
no, he's the football coach. Isn't Bill Walsh
Bill Walsh, the
coach?
49ers coach, yeah.
I think he's dead, too.
Or is that John Walsh?
John Walsh is America's
Yeah, Bill Walsh
most
is
watched.
the 49ers guy.
I mean, America's Most Wanted. So.
Stephen Engstrand is the only guy running in Ward 5. Ward 3, you have two, Andrea West and John Fixadenti. He should have went into the auto body business.
Or the Italian restaurant business.
Yes. Well, I figured with Fixadenti, that's...
that'd be a good...
It would be
Fixadenti.
Yes. It would be great. He should have a body shop.
Rebecca Knocker could be his part. Could be Knocker a Denti.
Okay. Don't know what that means.
I have no idea. I just wanted to say Knocker.
But yeah, there's a lot of districts, a lot of school districts that are having odd year elections. Too many for us to go through. But even in there are some uncontested elections. It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, there's uncontested elections or school district all the time. I mean, it's. I think people are waking up to the fact that they shouldn't be anymore. But
Bagley up in the northwest corner of the state has an uncontested election. Kingsland, I'm not sure where that is, has an uncontested election. There's a special election in Gibbon, Fairfax, Winthrop district, uncontested. Pipestone has an uncontested election. Westbrook, Walnut Grove has an uncontested election. LaPorte has one. International Falls has one. Lind has one. Leroy and Ostrander has two that are uncontested. Worthington which being down there in the southwest corner, I thought you'd do a little better there.
Well,
South Dakota might rub off on you.
Well, remember that Worthington has had a lot of refugees and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Widboom is probably not a refugee.
Yeah, but that city has changed a lot.
Yeah. Fisher has one. Are you looking something up about Worthington? Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Nett Lake has an uncontested election. Duluth has an uncontested school board election. Can you believe that?
Well, considering they have uncontested council election, it's not.
Mountain Iron and Buell has a uncontested school board election. Butterfield does as well. All the rest are contested, but just to what degree? Some of them have a lot, and some, although I don't know for some of these where I say that they're not contested, they may have been if there was like pick two, or it just really depends.
Worthington has 13,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Spring Lake Park. So, yeah, that's fantastic. Way to go. So there's a whole bunch of them, and it's a shame. That there's just not people. There's not interest with all the things going on in our schools. That there's that little interest in school board.
Well, not to mention just all the things going on in the country. I mean, there's so much angst going on, and you still have trouble finding people all the time.
Right.
It is tough, but I mean, I just go back, Jay, to the odd year elections and just how much I hate them.
Yeah.
I just hate them. They
I
suck.
do too. They are terrible.
They don't belong then, and something has to be done to change it, because it's a disservice to the voter. It's a disservice to the country.
Yeah.
It's done to manipulate the outcome. Don't tell me it's not. It's 100% done for that reason, and I just absolutely can't stand them. And I don't want to talk about them again. I want this bill passed in the next legislature, so in 2025 we're not talking about this.
You know what Republicans need to do? They need to put this bill out there, and they need to call it something like the Voting Fairness Act.
No, I'm going to call it the Inflation Reduction Act.
Well, here's the thing: Republicans, if they put a bill out there like this, they would come up with some name that would sound all patriotic but wouldn't get anybody behind the bill. You have to tug at people's heartstrings. And like I say,
they make that mistake all the time.
It has to be like the Voting Fairness Act or the Election Equity Act or something like that, where
they lose Republican votes.
Well, you might.
The Sustainable Equitable Inclusion Act
but if you want to get Democrats behind it,
I think you could get some. I mean, it's not a totally partisan issue.
It's not.
I think you could get some who would agree with that.
Yeah.
That they don't like it either.
Yeah.
They don't want to come out to vote in the odd year, or or it isn't representative of the people. There are Democrats who would come around to that. Not a majority, but I think you could get a quarter of them.
If you can get that with the Republicans, I think you can pass
That's a veto-proof margin.
Yeah.
Of course, the Republicans have to control something. They can control a committee.
There's that.
It's not as simple. But I do think it's an important issue. I mean, and I do think it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I think people are frustrated by odd year elections, by school referendums. People are continuously frustrated by that, yet that's not really being tapped into very well. And even when you talk about school board races, it's a lot of this is loosely connected. The Republican Party isn't doing anything to push that. They're doing absolutely nothing. So it's people having to take it upon themselves to do it, which is always. But you know what? Maybe it's better that way.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I still get some Republican emails here and there asking for money or whatever. Not that I ever.
Yeah, you know what I do?
Any.
You know what I do? That's what I do.
I don't remember seeing, and I could have skipped it, could have went to the trash, a single Republican email calling out Ilhan Omar for what she said regarding Israel.
Of course they don't.
I don't get it. Where are you?
Now you'll see Republicans nationally do that.
Oh, yeah. They've done that.
See, and again,
somewhat.
There's the missed opportunity. Put Ilhan Omar in a commercial with Tim Walz. Put her in a commercial with Angie Craig.
Yeah.
And play that 555,000 times. You know, I thought it was a lost opportunity when Norm Coleman didn't put Al Franken's stuff he said on the radio. He did it at the very end.
Yeah.
But he should have done that the entire time.
Yeah.
You know, and all the things he said on the radio, all the horrible things he said. I mean, that wasn't really an issue in that campaign. Franken was kind of allowed to redefine himself.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake.
Absolutely. Republicans in the state don't know how to fight. They just don't.
They don't want to fight. They're the happy minority. They're very good at being the minority. They're very good at complaining. They're very good at making promises. They're great at it.
Yeah.
And when it turns into, they rip the public schools and turn around and fund them 100%. Mm-hmm. Rip on a bonding bill, vote for it damn near unanimously.
Yep.
They give you nothing to hang your hat on. So, but just keeps me marching to that independent line, which is where I'm going to stay. So, Jay.
Yes.
It's that time again. I don't know how this started. I still don't remember the first time I did this. It's been years now, though.
I think I just started spouting off at the end of
Yeah.
podcasts, and you gave it a name.
Sign-off sermon.
Yeah.
The best things that happen on a show happen spontaneously.
Yes.
All right. Styling and profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Jay, floor is yours.
Thank you. I don't know what to say anymore. Everything's just gone. So, no. It's not. It feels like it. It can get heavy. We feel the pressure that we're under, you know, whether it's financial, whether it's the effects of immigration, whether it is the effects of our national debt, whether it is money going overseas to help fund wars that we don't want to be a part of, whatever it is. Yeah, it gets us down. We see our kids every day walking away and picking up attitudes and beliefs that we never gave them. You know, we watch our kids and it's like, where did you learn that? Because I didn't teach it to you. I didn't teach you to believe in more than two genders. I didn't teach you that people should be able to get stuff for free without working for it. I didn't teach you that we believe in a bunch of this unproven climate stuff, or we go get a vaccine because somebody tells us to. But yet we see it all over the place where our kids are marching in the streets, where we see that our kids are at the universities saying things that are horrific about Israel, calling out for its destruction. I mean, from the river to the sea. That's what that means. Push the Jews into the ocean. That's what that means. But yet they're parroting it because that's what they're being taught. You know, I think about the 60s where it's like, oh, don't trust the man. You know, don't trust anybody that's over 30, man. And when they all got 30, when they all became the man, oh, you can trust us because we got your best at heart. Excuse me. I mean, why does that change? Why is that different? You're pushing the same old tired socialist, nihilistic worldview that you have been the whole entire time. It never went away. But because good people put their head down, went to work, fed their families, took care of their families, didn't pay attention like we were supposed to, we end up behind the eight ball. How many more cycles can we sit through, and how much more damage can we take as a country and expect to ever be able to come back from it? I think if we're serious with ourselves, we sit and think about it, it's like, well, is America just going to bounce back when we get somebody else in? No, I don't think so. There is some work that has to happen. There are some things that need to be said, some things that need to be done. And I don't think America's just going to naturally bounce back. I mean, we're a resilient country. Still the leader of the free world. Even though we're not acting with much leadership. But we are still the leader of the free world. And so, I don't know. If we have to go through another 4 years of this, do we survive? The beauty of that is it's up to you whether we do have to put up with it another 4 years. We could just write it off and say it's a foregone conclusion. System's rigged. It's not worth taking my time to go vote. I don't believe in the system. I don't like this candidate. You don't have to like the candidate, but if the candidate is doing the right things for the country, even if personally you don't like him, why would you shoot all of your friends and neighbors and children in the foot? Why would you do that? Just to spite somebody because you don't like him. Like he knows that you didn't vote for him because he has mean tweets. Like you're going to teach him a lesson. You're teaching everybody in America a lesson because you didn't stand up last time. You're teaching everybody else in America a lesson that, oh, it's okay when we don't like somebody to just do the worst thing possible for the country. That you don't have to think about your fellow countrymen. You don't have to think about all the poor. I mean, under President Trump, we had the lowest number or lowest amount of black unemployment ever in our country. That says something. That's a good thing. And now, nobody can afford anything. Everybody's working 2, 3, 4 jobs. Is that what we want to live under? We want that digital currency to come around? Do we want to send our children over to go fight in wars that we have no business being in? Yeah, peace through strength, but we're not doing that. This is warfare through weakness, and that is dangerous. So there's only one thing that you can do to turn the ship around, and that is to actually start putting conservative values into practice. Take responsibility. Take responsibility for your country. Take responsibility for your children and your grandchildren. Take responsibility for our financial situation as a nation. Take responsibility. Stand up and do something. You know, that's what Andrew and I decided that we needed to do when we started this thing. There were changes happening right here in front of us in our city that we weren't happy with. So what did we do? We stood up and we did something, and we keep doing something. And we keep at it, and we keep at it, and we keep at it. Yeah, we've won. We've won a lot of elections. You know, we've watched a lot of people lose a lot of elections. Make dumb mistakes. But it doesn't keep us from getting up and doing what we can to change our corner of the world. And we expect no less from you, our listeners, that I know you care about this country. I know you care about your families. But there comes a time when we need to look at the level of sacrifice that we give. Because that is what's going to save us. Those who still love America, standing up for the right thing, doing the right thing, and putting our self-interests on the back burner, delaying things long enough that we are selfless in our protection of this country and of the future that this country is capable of. The time is now to stand against the World Economic Forum, to stand against the United Nations, to stand against Russia, to stand against Hamas, to stand against corruption in Ukraine, to stand against corruption in our own country, to stand against all of the push for globalization, to stand against communism, to stand against Marxism in all its forms everywhere. The time is now. And it's not about just getting together and having meetings. It's putting a plan in place that actually gives us the ability to make decisions. Because if you ain't making decisions, you ain't doing nothing. Yeah, I realize that's bad English. I'm all right with that. You know what I mean? And it's time. It is time to make a change. Who's with us? Now is the time to start pulling your teams together. Start forming committees. Getting the framework settled. You need to get a hold of us if you're even thinking about it. COMMsolutionsMN@gmail.com. That's COMMsolutionsMN@gmail.com, because we can help you win. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. We love you, Minnesota, but now it's your turn to get to work.
If I get too caught